Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a common concern that I hear, especially when I'm talking to potential new clients or just having conversations with moms in general. It is about lifting heavy and kind of the societal views that come with that, the pressures that we feel, and how it ultimately can harm women from getting in the gym. The one thing that when you hear lift heavy, we associate with is bulk. That you're going to get huge and muscular and all of this stuff. And then a lot of times it comes back as like, well, I just want to tone, right? So, first, let's address that stuff because I think that's an important distinction that we need to make to then move forward and kind of break that barrier a little bit. So, when we say lift heavy, you're not going to bulk up from 1 or 2 sessions, maybe 3 sessions a week in the gym lifting heavy. Bulking up, especially for women, is going to take very, very consistent, good, solid, lots of nutrition. That means eating a lot. You need to eat to gain muscle, and you need to be eating in the right way. It needs to be consistent, probably more than you want to eat or you think you should be eating. It's going to take years, to be honest, of consistency in the gym to really get those big, massive muscles. And it's going to take a training program that most women are not going to be following just to be pain free, feel strong in their daily life, look good in clothes, all of those things. So, that fear of bulking up can go right out the window because it's not the women that you see that are these huge women and you look at them and you're like, yeah, they bulked. They have done a lot of work to get there over many years. And we're just not doing that, right? And then the other thing that often comes into play is, well, I want to tone, right? So I hesitate on that and I take that pause for a reason because oftentimes what we will see is when I ask you to define what toning means to you, we start describing some of those women who you would also describe as bulky. Maybe not quite with as much musculature, but you're like, oh, I want to be able to have defined arms and shoulders. I want my legs to not look fat. I don't want my belly to stick out in my clothes. I don't want them hanging over my jeans, right? But then when you look at somebody who's bulky and I ask you to describe that person, oh, I can see they have defined arms, their legs don't look fat, they don't have any skin hanging over their jeans, their belly is flat, right? So, in the same breath that you just described somebody who is, or what you think toned looks like, you also described the bulky person, correct? Because there is no such thing as toning versus bulking. In order to be toned, you need muscle definition. Now, you don't have to be huge, you don't have to be lifting hundreds and hundreds of pounds to get there. But I think that oftentimes, and part of it is a societal issue, part of it is just the narrative around females, it's important to understand that toning and strength training are the same. You cannot just do 1 and 2 pound weights and get toned. Okay. You also need to pair that with good nutrition in the kitchen, which goes with either way that you're looking at. So it's just changing how you're approaching and how you're viewing these topics, these words, right? So if we can adjust that mindset, a lot of things will change and we can stop being so hesitant about hopping in the gym and picking up some weights. Now, the real reason I want to talk about lifting heavy is that oftentimes what women think of as lifting heavy, or sometimes what will happen if you go into a gym and you say, hey, I want to lift heavy, the wrong trainer might put you in a 1 rep max, 2 rep max type situation, might be having you lift 4 to 6 reps at a time. And that, if you are brand new to strength training, if you haven't lifted in a couple years because of children, Or maybe your goal is not to be the strongest female you can be, but just to kind of be healthy, pain free, symptom free, and be able to feel like when you're 80, you will be capable. Then your goal should not be 1 rep max or 4 to 6 reps. It should be closer to that 8 to 10 or 12 rep range. So that higher weight and lower rep count can actually lead to more injury and cause a lot more problems in the short term and even the long term for moms who they're just not looking for that kind of thing, right? So the key is that in order to get the benefits of lifting heavy and avoid injury or issue, especially down the road, we stay in that 8 to 12 rep range. But here's where the heavy part comes in. Okay. When you get to reps 10, 11, or 12, or basically the last 3 to 4 reps of your set, it should be very difficult to maintain good form. You are grunting, you are breathing heavy, you are struggling to maintain that good form. You do not want to feel like you have anything left in the tank. If you feel like you can go to rep 13, 14, 15, our weight's not heavy enough. If you get to rep 8 and you're like, I can't possibly do any more without cheating, then maybe the weight was a little too heavy. Okay, so we've got to find that sweet spot, that middle ground. And that is where we get some muscle definition, where we are not going to bulk. And the best part, we're going to avoid injury. Okay, so it is going to help with your mobility, with your strength, with your daily activity tasks, right? And still allow you to feel strong and confident and supported by your body instead of working against your body, right? And we're going to avoid things like injury, more symptoms, or creating extra additional problems that we didn't have going into it. So, as a quick recap, the things that we want to think about when you hear the term women need to lift heavy: you are not going for 1 or 2 rep maxes. You are going higher than 6 reps, keeping the weight at what's doable so that the last 3 reps of your 8 to 12 range is hard. It is a challenge, but not impossible. And that you don't have much left in the tank, right? And you're not going to bulk up without years of training, mass nutrition, right? These things are not going to happen overnight or 3 sessions a week. So don't fear the bulk because it's really hard to do. Prevent injuries by still lifting heavy, but not in the way that most people think when you say lift heavy, right? Okay, so hopefully this helps clear up some things. Of course, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I hope to see you in the gym lifting heavy at your next session.